Stop. Don't scroll. There is a decree that has just been sealed in heaven concerning the weight that you have endured in silence, and I have been sent to deliver to you the verdict. The weight of this prolonged waiting has settled into your body. It has disrupted your sleep, leaving you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. wondering if you've missed your moment. It manifests as a physical exhaustion in your bones, the kind that no amount of rest can touch, as if you're carrying the burden of a promise that has yet to arrive. You feel it in the pit of your stomach when someone else gets the breakthrough you've been praying for. This spiritual exhaustion has bled into your decisions. Opportunities that felt divinely ordained have dissolved into thin air. Doors that were creaking open suddenly slam shut, leaving you in the hallway of almost. You make a good decision, a wise move, but it yields the fruit of a foolish one, and you're left wondering if you can even trust your own discernment anymore. And this battle has come into your home. The atmosphere is thick with an unspoken tension, the weight of your unfulfilled expectation. Your family feels it even if they can't name it. The joy that once characterized your home has been replaced by a quiet, persistent strain. The enemy's strategy is simple. If he can't destroy the promise, he will try to exhaust the promise keeper until you give up on your own. If you feel the weight of this, I ask you to stay until the end. There is a reason for the intensity of this battle, and today it will be named. There is a specific instrument of covering designed for this exact season, and I will show you how to use it today. And at the end of this message, there will be a seal, a declaration that ends the season of delay and activates your appointed time. If you feel the truth in this, please stay until the very end. Do not break this line. Have you ever felt that this agonizing weight, this sense that your breakthrough is stuck in cosmic traffic, is not just human, but spiritual? And what if this delay is a sign that there is a battle raging against the very purpose God has placed upon your life? While many try to explain it away as bad luck or a season of character building, few realize that this specific kind of resistance isn't just against what you have, but against the destiny God is building through you. But what if the true reason for this relentless opposition is hidden in something you haven't yet seen about your own calling? Now think with me. And if everything you have endured until now, the heavy feeling of another sunrise without the promised change, the forced, thin smile you give when someone asks, "Any news?" The quiet, decisive swipe to close the calendar app after another prophesied date has passed, is the answer to that one question you've carried for years without being able to explain. Why has my appointed time been so intensely contested? It was while seeking answers to this that I found this digital book called The 7 Spiritual Reasons Why the Chosen Ones Face So Much Envy. This book is not just reading, it's a key of spiritual understanding, a tool made for those who wish to see beyond appearances, to stop the cycle of almosts and not yets, and to comprehend why a spiritual law of opposition activates against those who carry a mark of God. Several chosen ones here on this channel have already felt the call of the spiritual shield, but have not yet made the decision to download the digital book. Download it now. It's available in the first pinned comment. But beware, this content may not be available for long. It reveals spiritual reasons that many prefer to ignore, because they expose what lies behind the sudden wave of exhaustion right before a breakthrough, the urgent distraction that pulls you away from your purpose, and the cold feeling of being utterly forgotten by heaven. Do not wait for the pain of missing another divine appointment to seek what you already feel you need to understand. Click now, download your copy, and find out why the spirit of delay has not managed to cancel what God has decreed for you. If you are one of the first to download, come back here and write, Amen. This will be your act of faith, and this very day, God can show you the reason why the weariness of waiting almost convinced you to accept a smaller destiny. Imagine a royal messenger, dispatched from the throne room weeks ago. He carries a scroll sealed with the king's own signet ring. On it is your name and the date of your coronation. The enemy's only strategy is to delay the messenger, to make you give up and abandon your post, convinced you've been forgotten. This message is the sound of that messenger's horse finally galloping into your courtyard. If you recognize the sound of that horse, if you feel in your spirit that this message is for you, I want you to make a declaration in the comments right now. Write these 3 words: "The wait is over." This is not just for the algorithm, it is a spiritual declaration. It is you aligning your voice with the decree that has been issued in heaven. Do it now. And on this very matter, on the feeling of a clock's hands being physically stuck, on the pain of a calendar page for a date that has passed, on the weight of another sunrise without the change, there is a 3-minute seal that fits exactly inside the first unexpected, inconvenient demand that will come from your past, and I will show it to you later. Tuck it away in the back of your mind. And beyond our digital guide, Chosen One, you have here another way to strengthen this message that arrived at your house today, and to make it reach more and more chosen ones like you. We don't receive a single cent for each word I deliver to you every day on this channel. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we also keep a voluntary donation link open right below the digital book in the first pinned comment. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any sum your heart points to. This is what keeps our channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another person who needs it, exactly the way you need it today. I'll see you there, Chosen One. And if you need to leave before the end of this video, this shield is already waiting for you in the first pinned comment right below here. But I ask you to stay until the end, because without the context that is coming, the seal does not work with the same force upon your season of waiting. I still haven't told you the most important thing. I haven't given you the name of the spiritual resistance that is assigned to sabotage divine appointments. It specializes in prolonging the in-between stage, turning seasons of transition into decades of stagnation. It doesn't deny the promise. It delays its arrival until the recipient is too tired to act on it. Close your eyes for a moment, or at least look away from the screen. I want you to go to that quiet place inside, the one that has been holding the weight of this long season. I am going to describe 5 specific signs, and if I am right about at least 3 of them, you and I will both know, with certainty, why you were stopped here today. The first sign is the weight of the sunrise. It happens in the first few minutes of your day before the chaos begins. You see the light filtering through your window, and instead of feeling the hope of a new day, you feel a familiar heavy ache in your chest. It is the physical sensation of another 24 hours arriving without the promised change. It's the silent prayer, "Lord, not another day of this," before your feet even touch the floor. This isn't just morning grogginess. It's the grief of a deferred hope. The second sign is the applause that hurts. You are in a conversation or scrolling online, and you see it. Someone else receiving the very breakthrough you have been fasting and praying for. You have to force a smile, type, "Congratulations," and genuinely mean it. But a part of your spirit feels a sharp, specific pain. It's the agony of having to celebrate an answered prayer for someone who started their journey after you, while your own promise feels perpetually stuck in transit, a testimony still trapped as a prayer request. The third sign happens in the dead of night, usually between 3 and 5 a.m. You wake up suddenly, your heart pounding with a surge of adrenaline, and the first thing you do is reach for your phone. You stare at the digital clock on the lock screen, your breath held in the profound silence of your home while your family sleeps. And in that moment, a desperate, silent plea rises up. "Lord, is it now? Or am I just breaking down from the strain of waiting?" It is the crossroads between divine visitation and a nervous breakdown. And on the matter of that smartphone clock you stare at in the dead of night, which you just recognized, there is an instrument of covering designed for this exact hour, and I'll show it to you today. But stay with me until the end. The fourth sign is the echo of a prophetic word that has grown quiet. You received it years ago, a clear promise that burned in your spirit. But after so many false alarms and almosts, the memory has faded. Now, when you try to recall it, it feels like listening to a distant recording. The enemy's strategy here is insidious. He doesn't have to deny the promise if he can simply make you doubt the quality of the reception, making you question if you ever heard from God at all. The fifth and most intimate sign is the changing texture of your faith. The fire that once roared is now just embers. You find yourself on your hands and knees, spiritually speaking, trying to shield that tiny glow from the winds of disappointment. You pray, but the words feel hollow, recycled. It's the deep physical exhaustion of holding a posture of spiritual readiness for years. Your shoulders ache not from a physical burden, but from the spiritual weight of being prepared for a day that never seems to dawn. Now take a second. How many of those 5 hit home? 3? 4? All 5? If at least 3 of them resonated in your spirit, then you already know this is not a random video. You know that a heavenly frequency has been dialed to your specific location, to your specific pain. This is your confirmation that you have not been imagining the battle. You have been enduring it, and there is a reason you were chosen to endure this exact battle and not another. There is a specific kind of spiritual armor designed not for general warfare, but for the one who has been posted on the wall, waiting for the king's decree. The one who has to stand guard over a promise while living in a season that contradicts it entirely. And that armor is sealed in the understanding I am about to reveal to you. But before I show you the instrument of covering that will shield your divine appointment from further sabotage, I need to give you the name of the battle you are in, because a shield only makes sense after you know the name of the target. And there is a word in the original Hebrew that defines exactly this state of a divinely scheduled appointment, breaking through a season of calculated delay, a word that recontextualizes everything I have just described to you in the last few minutes. There is a word in the original Hebrew that changes everything you thought you knew. Of all the signs I've mentioned, the one that most confirms that this is your hour is the exhaustion that has settled in your bones, that weight of the sunrise that you feel every morning. It is not just tiredness. It's the physical evidence that a battle has been waged over your timeline. The seal of this hour you are crossing has been seen. Now is the time to understand the nature of what has opposed you, because between being chosen and being covered, there is an interval that the envious one knows better than you. That's why he fought so hard to extend it, not because the anointing was revoked, because the first inconvenient demand from your past is about to arrive, and you were not meant to face it without the authority of a sealed decree. And I'm telling you this because I've seen it happen. I've seen chosen ones with this exact same spiritual weariness, feeling as if they were living permanently in the waiting room of destiny, watching others be called in. I've seen the heavy ache of another sunrise without change turn into the bright morning of an activated promise. I've seen the quiet, bitter swipe to close a calendar app on a date that has passed turn into a screenshot of a sealed appointment. I've seen the forced, thin smile given to another's testimony turn into a tearful, powerful testimony of one's own. And it wasn't because they just waited better. It was because the time thief who had hijacked their calendar was finally exposed. When I use this word, envious, I am not using a metaphor. I am naming the spiritual force that specializes in prolonging the in-between stage, that works to turn seasons of transition into decades of stagnation, and that aims to delay the promise's arrival until you're simply too tired to receive it. And you already know this. You just hadn't given it a name yet. It is the sharp, specific pain of having to genuinely applaud the breakthroughs of others who started their journey after you, while your own promise feels perpetually stuck in transit. You have to force a smile at their testimony, while your own is still a prayer request. It is the agonizing feeling of your own faith becoming brittle. The fire of belief that once roared is now just embers, and you're on your hands and knees, desperately trying to shield it from the winds of doubt after so many false alarms and almosts. And it's the deep, physical exhaustion of holding a posture of spiritual readiness for years. Your shoulders ache, your knees are sore, not from a physical burden, but from the spiritual weight of being prepared for a day that never seems to dawn. Before I name the shield for this precise exhaustion of holding a spiritual posture, take your thumb to the first pinned comment, right here below. The moment your finger touches it, a path will be opened, but do not click yet. Just touch it and feel the weight of this decision. It was in search of this very answer that I came to this digital book called The 7 Spiritual Reasons Why the Chosen Ones Face So Much Envy. This is not a book for everyone. It is an instrument of war for the one whose timeline has been contested. This digital book was written to equip you with the 3 fundamental reasons why your mode, your appointed time, has been so fiercely opposed, why your faith has become brittle from the long wait, and why the exhaustion has settled in your bones. It's time to put a name to the warfare This is why you must understand the reasons that are registered in this digital book. Don't wait for another prophesied date to pass unmarked to seek what you already feel you need to understand. It's in the first pinned comment right below. Click the link now, secure your copy, and find out why mode sabotage has no legal authority to stop what God has decreed over you. And if you are among the first to download, return here and leave in the comments. Amen. Your act of faith will be the sign that you have received your scroll, even before you finish reading it, and the seal is broken before the next test of your past arrives. I want you to know this. The entire architecture of our ministry is based on a single verse. It says, "He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." That secret place is a place of spiritual understanding, and a revelation is the key that opens the door to this dwelling. This digital book is a key to that secret place. It provides the covering of understanding that allows you to abide when the battle for your timeline intensifies. A chosen one waiting for their appointed time without learning this architecture is like a watchman on a wall without a shield. The digital book in the first pinned comment was built on this architecture. It is the same structure of revelation that allowed Joseph to survive the pit, the false accusation, and being forgotten in prison, all tactics of mode sabotage. You will spend more on other things this week, less than a cup of coffee you buy at a cafe, not because you're thirsty, but just to have a place to sit and kill another hour while you wait for God to move. Less than a thinking of you card you sent to a friend to encourage them while you were the one who felt completely forgotten by heaven. Less than the price of a movie ticket you bought on a Friday night just to escape the deafening silence of your own unanswered prayers for 2 hours. Those were not conscious choices. They were expenditures made out of weariness. And here, faced with something that can change the very texture of your waiting for the next 12 months, you will hesitate, not because it is worth less. It is because the enemy always attacks what has the power to set you free. This hesitation has a name. It is the echo of the time thief, dressed up as financial prudence, making one last attempt to keep you in the waiting room. Now you have the authority to silence that voice. And it comes with a 7-day guarantee. If you open it, read it, and it does not serve you, just send an email and you get all your money back. No questions, no process, no judgment. There should be no risk in seeking a shield, especially when what's at stake is the covering you'll need when that first unexpected, inconvenient demand from your past arrives in the next 24 hours. The risk is on me. The opportunity to be covered is on you. It is your decision whether you will face that test with the same old weariness or with the new authority of a sealed decree. Several chosen ones here on this channel have already taken this step. They have moved from being promise keepers to promise possessors. I remember Mark, 62, a pastor who felt his ministry had stalled for a decade. He wrote to me on a Thursday night, feeling the specific pain of seeing younger pastors he had mentored receive breakthroughs while he felt stuck. He said the exhaustion of holding a posture of readiness had become a physical ache in his back. He read the book between Thursday and Friday, and on Saturday morning he sent me a message. I just woke up for the first time in years without the weight of the sunrise on my chest. I didn't realize I was fighting a battle over my timeline. I thought I was just failing. And Joanna, 54, a mother praying for her son's return to faith, she told me she was at the point where her faith had become brittle, that she was just going through the motions. She downloaded the book on a Tuesday afternoon after seeing another friend's child have a miraculous turnaround. She wrote to me a week later saying, "I finally understood the mode sabotage. I stopped praying against my son and started praying against the spirit of delay assigned to his destiny. The atmosphere in my home has completely shifted." And Peter, 49, an entrepreneur who faced a series of almosts for 3 years straight. Deals that were about to close would collapse at the last minute. He said he was so tired of holding on, he was about to renegotiate his dream down to a more realistic version. He got the book on a Monday. On the following Monday, he sent me a picture of a signed contract that had been dead for 6 months with the words, "The messenger finally arrived." Each hour spent staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. is another hour the time thief steals from your rest. Each month that passes without you knowing the name of your mode is another month the enemy uses to convince you that waiting is your permanent address. Each year you spend without the 7 reasons is another year that the slow calcification of your divine ambition continues until the lion inside you learns to accept the cage. And your family doesn't notice it either, and your children don't notice it either. And this silent calcification of your divine ambition continues to arrive with the same smile, sitting in the same chair, and leaving through the same door. And before I give you the next word that is still to come, because it is still to come and it is heavy, I want to remind you that your support is the engine that allows this ministry to bring a word like this to another chosen one who right now is on the verge of giving up on their own weight. Just as the digital book is a seed you plant in your own life, a voluntary donation of any amount your heart directs is a seed you plant in the life of this ministry, so that tomorrow's message can find its destination. The link is just below the book, in the first pinned comment. I'll wait for you there, again, chosen one. But don't leave now. The sealing is not yet complete. I still have not given you the key that unlocks the entire mystery. It's the exact name of what is happening to you right now, a word that came from ancient Hebrew and traveled 3,000 years to find you right on schedule in this specific season of your life. I'm about to speak it over you. Stay. The word for this entire season of your life, the one that the enemy has fought so hard to keep you from understanding, is a Hebrew word. It is a key that unlocks the prison door of your prolonged waiting. The word is moed. Listen. Moed. M-O-E-D. It is often mistranslated simply as time or season, but that is a pale, lifeless shadow of its true meaning. Chronos is the Greek word for chronological time, the ticking of a clock, the turning of calendar pages. Moed is different. It is a divine appointment, a set feast, a strategic scheduled intersection of heavenly purpose and earthly reality. It is a date on God's calendar, sealed with His own authority that cannot be moved or cancelled. The battle you have been in was never about if your promise would come. It was always a war against your mode. The entire strategy of the time thief, the spirit of delay, is not to break God's promise. He cannot. His goal is to sabotage your moed, to create so much spiritual turbulence, so much exhaustion, so many near misses and false alarms, that when your divinely appointed time finally arrives, you are too spiritually bruised, too cynical, too exhausted to even recognize it, let alone receive it and act upon it. The exhaustion you feel is the residue of a war that has been waged over a specific date on a heavenly calendar, and you are not the first to endure this specific warfare. The signature of this attack is recorded in the scriptures with surgical precision. It is the story of the man who became the very blueprint for the chosen one who is envied for a destiny they have not yet received. It is the story of Joseph. Joseph was the most envied and most elevated man in the Old Testament, and this is not a historical title, it is a biblical record signed by God Himself. He was given the dream, the destination, while he was still a boy. But between the dream and the throne, there was a 13-year moed sabotage. His brothers, who should have protected him, envied the destiny they could only glimpse. So they sold him. They threw the promise keeper into a pit, trafficking a divine destiny as common merchandise into Egypt. In Egypt, the moed sabotage continued. He was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, a spirit of seduction assigned to derail his integrity and disqualify him from his appointment. He spent years in a prison he did not deserve, forgotten by the cupbearer whose dream he interpreted. Every step was a test of the moed. The enemy was trying to break his spirit, to make him curse the God who gave him the dream in the first place, to convince him that his appointed time was a lie. He was a watchman on a wall, watching for a dawn that seemed like it would never come. But the moed that was sealed in heaven could not be broken on earth. When Pharaoh had the dreams that no one in Egypt could interpret, the forgotten prisoner was remembered. Joseph was brought from the dungeon to the palace, and the practical wisdom he had cultivated in his years of waiting, the ability to manage, to plan, to see, became the very instrument that saved a nation. He interpreted the dreams of 7 years of abundance and 7 years of famine, and was made second in command over all of Egypt. His moed had arrived, and in the end, It was the very brothers who sold him into slavery who came bowing before him, seeking the grain he was now in charge of. They did not even recognize him. Jesus himself referenced Joseph as a type of the Messiah, the one who was rejected by his own, only to become their salvation. The man who was sold out of envy became the provider for the envious, and he did not take this wisdom to the grave. He left it registered, a map that has traversed 3,800 years without losing its edge. The man who was sold because of envy left behind the blueprint for those who are envied today. And that very map, that instrument of spiritual navigation, is exactly what you are about to receive. Imagine a royal messenger was dispatched from the throne room weeks ago. He carries a scroll, and on that scroll is your name, your new title, and the date of your coronation. The scroll is sealed with the king's own signet ring, a seal that cannot be broken. The enemy, the time thief, knows he cannot break the seal or alter the decree. His only strategy is to ambush the messenger, to set up roadblocks, to create diversions, to send storms to slow him down. His goal is to make the messenger arrive so late that you've already given up, so that you've abandoned your post, convinced the king has forgotten you, or that the promise was a lie. This message, right now, is the sound of that messenger's horse finally galloping into your courtyard. He is battered, he is weary, but he is here, and he is holding up the sealed scroll. The wait is over not because the enemy gave up, but because the decree's appointed time, your mode, has arrived, and not even the forces of hell can stand against the king's sealed calendar. This message is the breaking of that seal. This is the covering of understanding that allows you to abide under the shadow of the Almighty. It is not just a story, it is a spiritual shield. It is the realization that the intensity of the wait was directly proportional to the magnitude of the mode that was sealed in your name. The enemy does not waste ammunition on empty vessels. He saw the royal seal on your destiny long before you did. And now that you know the name of the battle, now that you have seen its blueprint in the life of Joseph, it is time to receive the specific instrument of authority for this new season. The deepest truth is yet to come, and it has your name written on it. Let me stop for a full minute and put everything you've just heard into simple words. No poetry, no metaphor, just the facts. Fact 1. The prolonged wait you have endured is not an accident or a punishment. It is a spiritual battle over a divinely scheduled appointment. Fact 2. The enemy assigned to this battle, the time thief, cannot cancel your promise. So his entire strategy is to exhaust you before its arrival. Fact 3. The arrival of this message is not random. It is the heavenly signal that the battle over your timeline is over, and your appointment, your mode, is now being activated. And here is who you are inside all of this. You are the person who was given a destination, but had to endure a journey of betrayal, false accusation, and being forgotten, just like Joseph. You are the one who was anointed for a kingship, but had to spend years on the run, just like David. You are the one who has been praying for an answer, while a war raged in the heavens to stop the messenger, just like Daniel. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a veteran of a targeted spiritual war. Now what comes next is the official naming of your role in this new season. It is time to move from being the one who waits to the one who watches with authority. The posture changes now. The first archetype you embody is the watchman on the wall. This is the chosen one who has been tasked with waiting, watching, and staying alert for the fulfillment of a promise. It is the role of the sentinel who stands guard over a divine decree while living in a reality that contradicts it, tasked with discerning between the signs of dawn and the enemy's deceptions. The spiritual implication of this is profound. A watchman on the wall is a position of immense honor and immense pressure. You are the first line of defense for the incoming promise. The enemy attacks you with exhaustion and doubt precisely because, if he can make the watchman fall asleep, the city gates remain unguarded when the king's messenger finally arrives. The second archetype you carry is at the promise keeper in the waiting room of destiny. This is the part of you that has been held in a spiritual holding pattern, a space designed to feel permanent. You are the one who has had to watch others be called in for their breakthrough, while you were told to just wait a little longer, preserving the integrity of a promise in a season of agonizing stillness. This means you have been cultivating a hidden strength. While others were celebrating, you were building endurance. While others were receiving, you were learning faithfulness. The waiting room was not a prison. It was a gymnasium for your spirit. The enemy meant to break you with the weight, but God used it to build the spiritual muscle required to carry the weight of the coming blessing. The third archetype is the messenger in delay. This is the part of your destiny that has been contested, ambushed, and slowed down on its journey to you. Just like the royal messenger from the allegory carrying the sealed scroll of your appointment, a part of your own calling has been fighting through spiritual traffic to reach its earthly manifestation. This reveals that the delay was never a reflection of your worth, but a testament to the value of the message you carry. The roadblocks were not a sign of God's disapproval, but a confirmation of the threat your destiny poses to the kingdom of darkness. You weren't just waiting for a message has been fighting its way to you. If you have felt the weight of being a watchman on the wall, a promise keeper in the waiting room, and a messenger caught in delay, I want you to make a declaration of your new season. Go to the comments and write, with authority, "My watch is over. My moed is here." This is you, speaking from all three archetypes, announcing the shift. This is not for me. It's the sound of your spirit agreeing with heaven's decree. And as you do that, I want you to subscribe to this channel. This is not just about numbers. Subscribing is your way of saying, I am planting myself by this well. I will not be a transient visitor to my own breakthrough. It ensures you are in position to receive the next instruction when it is released. Now I am going to place a tool in your hands. It is a simple, actionable framework you can use in under 3 minutes. It is called the Moed Activation Decree. The very next time you feel that heavy ache of the sunrise, that spiritual exhaustion settling in your bones, you will not let it sit. You will execute this protocol immediately. First, you will acknowledge the feeling and name it. You will say out loud, I recognize this feeling. It is not my own. It is the residue of the battle for my moed. Its assignment is over. Second, you will speak the decree that has been sealed in heaven. You will declare the messenger has arrived, the scroll is unsealed. My mode, my appointed time is now activated by the authority of the king. Third, and finally, you will seal it with a physical action. Place your hand over your heart, close your eyes and say with finality, the wait is over, the rain begins. As you say this, you will feel a specific release in your chest, a tangible lightness spreading through your shoulders, as if a heavy winter coat you've worn for years has just been removed by an unseen hand. And this tool I've just placed in your hands, it's a door. But there is a difference between opening a door and inhabiting the whole house. What I have given you now covers the next first unexpected, inconvenient demand from your past. A covering. What is in the first pinned comment covers the 7 reasons why Moed Sabotage chose you as a target. Not randomly, not by accident, but because something specific in you activated the Moed over your destiny. It shows the 3 patterns the enemy uses to hijack your timeline, and it gives you the complete ritual of covering that you perform before each new season of promise for the next 12 months. You have just been declared the watchman on the wall. But a watchman on the wall without a full shield is a lonely lookout who can see the enemy approaching, but lacks the sealed scroll to prove the king's arrival is imminent, turning his warnings into the noise of false alarms. The seal you have just received is real. What is in the first pinned comment is what transforms this seal into armor. And as you listen to this, someone like you has already opened the link and is on the 3rd reason. I am not rushing you. I am telling you that the link remains there, exactly where you expected to find it, waiting for the same decision you are making now. But before you decide, I need to show you what the envious one will try to do against this tool in the next 72 hours. The moment you begin to operate in what you have just received, and this will happen within the next 72 hours, 3 specific things will be launched against you. This is not a possibility. It is the enemy's predictable counter-playbook. He will not attack the promise. He will attack your confidence in the seal that just activated it. Listen closely, because foreknowledge is the first layer of your new armor. The first counterattack is the doubt bomb of coincidence. Within hours, a small, positive event will occur. A minor financial provision, a kind word from an unexpected source, a small bit of good news. And immediately a voice will whisper, "See, it was just a coincidence. You were going to get a small break anyway." That message was just emotional hype to make you feel special. It's designed to shrink the magnitude of your moed down to a lucky break. Your weapon is to refuse to diminish the first fruits. The moment it happens, you will stop, touch something solid like a wall or a table to ground yourself in the physical realm, and declare out loud, "I receive this not as a coincidence, but as the first fruit of my activated moed." The king's seal is being honored. The second tactic is the distraction crisis. The very first time you set aside 3 minutes to perform the moed activation decree, a sudden, urgent crisis will erupt. It will feel completely real. A frantic phone call, a sudden argument that demands your immediate attention, an emergency at work that can't possibly wait. The enemy's goal is to make the decree feel like a luxury you can't afford, to prove that your old life still has more authority over your time than your new appointment. Your weapon is to honor the appointment. You will look at the crisis and say, "This can wait 3 minutes. My audience with the king comes first." You do not postpone the decree, you make the chaos wait for you. The third and most subtle tactic is the isolation of the seer. You will feel an overwhelming urge to share a piece of this revelation with someone close to you, a spouse, a friend, a family member. And when you do, they will look at you with a blank, uncomprehending stare, or worse, with a look of polite concern. They might say, "Are you sure you're okay? That sounds a little intense." This is a spiritual transaction designed to make you feel foolish, fanatical, and utterly alone in what you now see. The weapon here is understanding. You will not argue. You will simply recognize that you are seeing something they are not yet equipped to see, and you will say in your spirit, "Lord, thank you for the confirmation." Then you will come back to the comments section of this video and read the declarations of the other watchmen on the wall, anchoring your sanity not in the consensus of the blind, but in the fellowship of the seeing. And about this isolation you recognized as real, I need to tell you something now. There are 4 more tactics beyond these 3. I cannot open them all here, not for lack of time. For density, each one requires its own page, with the exact counter-weapon, with the specific verbal declaration that neutralizes the attack the instant it arrives. And while I do not deliver those 4 tactics here, the force of moed sabotage knows them all by heart. All of this is mapped out within the 7 spiritual reasons why the chosen ones face so much envy, along with the exact sequence of covering applied to the betrayal of a brother, the false accusation of a superior, and the pain of being forgotten by someone you helped. You will need this, not tomorrow. You will need this tonight. When moed sabotage whispers that the relief you feel is just a temporary emotional high that will be gone by morning, you will need this tomorrow morning when it tries to make the memory of this message feel blurry and distant, like a dream you can't quite recall. And you will need this when that first inconvenient demand from your past arrives, because it will use that demand to scream, "See? Nothing has changed. You're still trapped in the same old cycle." The link remains in the first pinned comment. I am not rushing you, I am warning you that the second day is harder than the first, and the spirit of moed sabotage knows this better than you do. But before you even think about clicking, I need to show you what you yourself will do against yourself in the next 72 hours, because the worst obstacle is not the envious one. It's the voice you confuse with your own. There is a voice that will rise up from within you that sounds holy, reasonable, and wise. It is the voice of false humility, and it is laced with the fear of appearing ungrateful. It will whisper, "Who are you to claim such a great destiny? Look at all the people who are suffering. You should be grateful for what you already have and not ask for more. Don't be arrogant. Don't tempt fate." This voice feels like your own conscience, but it is a spiritual sedative designed to make you renegotiate your God-given ambition down to a more manageable size. But this is a perversion of gratitude. True gratitude is not just being thankful for a gift. It is honoring the giver by fully using the gift. To receive a royal decree for a kingdom and then choose to live in a small corner of it out of humility is not honor. It is an insult to the king's generosity. The enemy has taught the chosen to be afraid of their own inheritance, to confuse smallness with holiness. Your defense against this voice is to reframe it instantly. When it whispers, "Don't be arrogant," You will answer, "My king is not honored by a small inheritance. I am not stepping into this moed for my own glory, but for the glory of the one who sealed it. I receive the full measure of my destiny not out of arrogance, but out of honor for the king." You must see this humble voice for what it is, the final, most intimate guard at the door of your cage. And there is one last thing, the thing that concerns me most of all, that I am going to do with you before this message closes. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to stop everything. Close your eyes. If it is safe to do so, I want you to place one hand over your heart. Feel the warmth of your own hand. Feel the rhythm of your own pulse. This is the physical anchor of the spirit that God placed within you. We are not going to pray a prayer of begging. We are going to perform a spiritual transaction of release and activation. Take a deep breath with me. Inhale slowly, and as you exhale, I want you to consciously release the tension in your shoulders and your jaw. Let the physical weight of this long wait begin to loosen its grip. We are preparing the ground of your spirit to receive the seal that has been decreed in heaven. You are not an observer of this moment. You are the subject of it. In the name that is above all names, I release you from the cowardly fear of appearing ungrateful. I sever the cord of false humility that demands you shrink your testimony to make others feel comfortable in their mediocrity. I break the soul tie that obligates you to bleed in silence for the sake of keeping a false peace with those who cannot carry the weight of the destiny you were called to bear. Your victory is not an offense, it is a prophecy. I release you from the shame of your own spiritual exhaustion. The guilt you feel for being tired, the secret embarrassment of your faith becoming brittle, the agony of forcing a smile at another's breakthrough, it is not your burden to carry. It is the residue of a battle. And today, by a higher authority, that residue is washed from your spirit. You are permitted to be weary and you are commanded to be free. I release you from the echo of every disqualifying voice that has ever tried to define you. The whispers that told you you were too much or not enough. The concerns of those who mistook your divine ambition for arrogance. I command those voices to fall silent now. They have no jurisdiction over a destiny that has been sealed by the King. Their sound is replaced by the sound of the galloping horse of the messenger who has finally arrived. And I release you from the version of yourself that accepted the role of the silent burden bearer, the one who absorbed the arrows of jealousy and carried the weight home, discharging that spiritual static into the atmosphere of your own family. That identity is hereby revoked. You are no longer the repository for unclaimed spiritual warfare. You are a guarded territory, a holy ground, and the sign on your gate now reads, "Under new management." Now as you stand on this newly cleared ground, we will call forth what has been waiting. I summon into its full authority the watchman on the wall within you, no longer a lonely lookout staring into the darkness, but the authorized herald of the King's arrival. I activate your spiritual sight to discern the difference between the enemy's false alarms and the true dawn of your mode. Your watch of weary waiting is over. Your watch of authoritative declaration has begun. I summon into its rightful place the promise keeper, who has endured the waiting room of destiny, no longer a resident of almost and not yet, but the possessor of the promise. I activate the spiritual muscle you built in the gymnasium of stillness, the endurance forged in the fires of delay. You are now authorized to carry the full weight of the blessing you have so faithfully preserved. And I summon the part of you that is Marker, the messenger. No longer delayed, no longer ambushed, no longer fighting through cosmic traffic. The scroll has been delivered. The seal is broken. I activate the message you carry, the wisdom you have gained, the authority you have earned. The roadblocks have been cleared. The decree you embody is now released into the earth through your voice, through your actions, through your very being. That messenger whose horse you can hear has arrived not just with a scroll but with a new set of robes for you. The garments of a watchman, a promise keeper, and a herald. He is waiting for you to put them on. The time thief who hijacked your calendar has been served an eviction notice, signed by the hand of the Almighty. The battle for your timeline is over, but do not say amen yet. The seal has been placed, but the commissioning has not been spoken. We are not finished, stay with me. And now with your spirit prepared and the ground cleared, I will speak a covering over the 3 territories where the enemy's sabotage has been most relentless. I cover the table where you sit with your family, the meals that have grown heavy with unspoken disappointment. I command that the spirit of envy, which turns your victories into silence at the table, is banished from your gatherings. Your seat at the table is hereby restored as a place of honor, not a place of defense. Every meal in your home from this day forward will be seasoned with peace, not with the bitter herbs of jealousy. I speak a covering over your home itself, over your spouse and your children who have felt the spiritual static of this long battle without knowing its name, the tension that has thickened the air, the quiet strain that has been the backdrop to your family life, is broken now. I declare your home a sanctuary, sealed from the backlash of your elevation. Your breakthrough will be a blessing to your house, not a storm. The joy that had been suppressed by the weight of waiting is now released into every room. And I speak a covering over your work, your calling, and the opportunities that are now unlocked. Every project that stalled, every door that was slammed shut, every promotion that was hijacked in the spirit, I declare them released from the grip of the time thief. The fruit of your labor will no longer be stolen. Your anointing will no longer attract sabotage, but will now command respect and open pathways that were previously blocked. Your career and your calling are now sealed under divine jurisdiction. I see you. I have always seen you. I saw you staring at that digital clock on your phone in the dead of night, your heart pounding, asking, "Lord, is it now?" While your family slept, unaware of the war being waged in the silence of your bedroom. I was there in the space between your panic and your prayer. That was not a breakdown. It was the eve of your breakthrough. I saw you at that celebration, forcing a smile that didn't reach your eyes as you applauded the testimony of another. I saw the sharp intake of breath you tried to hide, the sting of feeling forgotten as you congratulated them. I registered that applause not as hypocrisy, but as an act of profound faith performed in the heart of your own private Gethsemane. I saw you shielding the last ember of your faith, on your knees in your spirit, trying to protect it from the winds of disappointment. I saw the moment you almost let it go out, the moment you thought, "I can't do this anymore." And I sent a breath of my own spirit, not to reignite a fire, but to whisper, "You don't have to. The dawn is doing it for you." I saw your shoulders aching, not from a physical burden, but from the spiritual weight of holding a posture of readiness for years. I saw you straightening your back one more time when all you wanted to do was collapse. I have honored that posture, and today I am relieving you of the duty of holding it. You no longer hold the posture now holds you. The calendar of your delay is hereby set on fire. The clocks that marked your postponement are shattered. Your appointed time, your mode, was not cancelled, it was contested. But the battle for your timeline is over. The verdict has been rendered in heaven, and it has been rendered in your favor. Your season of almost and not yet has expired. We break the doubt bomb of coincidence before it arrives. We dismantle the distraction crisis before it is launched against your new ritual. We dissolve the isolation of the seer before it can build a wall around this revelation in your house. You are a watchman. You are a promise keeper. You are a messenger. You are a watchman. You are a promise keeper. You are a messenger. You are a watchman. You are a promise keeper. You are a messenger. It is sealed in heaven. It is done on earth. I saw you at that celebration, forcing a smile that didn't reach your eyes. Don't open them yet. The seal is fresh. What was sealed here now will be tested in the next 24 hours when that first, unexpected, inconvenient demand from your past arrives. The envious one does not accept without a fight what has just been decreed over you. And whoever is commissioned without a covering walks into an open field. The anointing has been confirmed in heaven. Now it must survive the next 24 hours on earth. The 7 spiritual reasons why the chosen ones face so much envy is in the first pinned comment, right below here. Not as a substitute for what you have received in this message, as a companion to defend what has been sealed, because an anointing without a covering rots in the face of the next inconvenient demand, and the envious one is counting on that demand. Less than a cheap wall calendar for the new year that you're almost afraid to buy, because you don't want another 12 months of empty boxes. Less than a late-night snack you eat out of pure anxiety, not hunger. As you stare at the ceiling and wonder if you've missed your chance, with a 7-day guarantee, the risk is on us. The hand is yours. Click now, while the decree is still alive in your chest. Not tomorrow, not after the shower, not after talking to someone, because the first person you'll talk to will have a reasonable opinion that will cost the shield of your house, because whoever leaves it for later, leaves it for never. And the envious one already knows this. He counted on later when you received the last message that transformed you, and the one before, and the one before that. This one won't be another one. That voice whispering now, it can wait. What if it's not for you? It's probably not that deep and you should save the money and just pray about it some more. That voice is not yours. It sounds like you. It uses your vocabulary. It knows your excuses. But it is the voice of the one who lost today in the court of heaven and is trying to reclaim territory before that inconvenient demand from your past arrives. Every second that voice gains is a second the decree loses temperature. Click before the envious one speaks louder than the decree that has just been sealed over your head. Now, you can open your eyes, and the next attack after this one is already being prepared. It's a specific kind of confusion designed to make you doubt not the promise, but your own ability to discern God's voice from your own desire. And there are 7 types of these spiritual confusions that are sent after a breakthrough. The first of them is the subject of our next message. Click on the video that appears on your screen now, and still in this video, chosen one, before I seal this hour with you, I need to make one final request. We have fought this battle together. Now I ask you to sow into the ground from which this word came. Every day we bring a word like this without asking for anything in return, but the costs to maintain this fortress are real. If this message was your bread in the wilderness today, consider giving back. There is a link for a voluntary donation right next to the digital book. Give what is in your heart. Let it be an offering of gratitude, a seal of your own, ensuring the next message reaches the next chosen one who is right where you were an hour ago. This was my last request. I'll see you there, chosen one. With my own mouth and with the authority vested in this word, I say amen to your release. With my own spirit, I agree with the verdict of heaven. I sign my name in the spirit as a witness to the breaking of your delay. Your moed is no longer a future hope. It is a present reality. The seal is on you. The time is now. Now send this message to someone you know who needs the exact same shield you received here today. Someone who is tired of holding a posture of readiness, whose faith is growing brittle from a weight that seems endless. Send this to them now, and if they want to go deeper, the link to the 7 reasons is in the first pinned comment, waiting for them just as it waited for you. It's not your favor, it's servanthood. And heaven sees. It is done. What was delivered here was delivered. You are not the same person who pressed play. Sit in this gravity for a moment more. The first unexpected, inconvenient demand from your past can wait another 10 seconds.